Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Rama, God bless. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome this morning to the Zoom class from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 4, text 27 and 28. And we're fortunate this morning to have Her Grace Vrindavaneswari Radhika Devidasi from ISKCON, Philadelphia. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my glories of Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. So we'll
Hare
just jump
Krishna.
right in.
Go ahead.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Asvatara Sata His Divine Grace A.P. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hey.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Grace Sata His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Santakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Amacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Prem Sikhaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shiva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakand Radhakan Gira Govardhan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Mayapurdam Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Transcendental Bhakti Distribution Ki Jai. ISKCON Harrisburg Ki Jai.
Jai.
Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
All glories, the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, the assembled devotees, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories, the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga, Hare Hare Bol. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravana Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarane. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tatotaya Madhirayat Nastaprayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtaki. So good morning everyone, here we are. We are reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita today, mixing it up a little bit. And this is the confidential reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're reading in Adi Lila, the 4th chapter, verses 27 and 28. So I'll read, this is in Bengali. I'll read this 3 times and then you can repeat. Esuda Bhakta Lana Karimu Avatar, Kariba Vida Vida Abuta Vihara. Vaikuntayad nahi ye lara pachara. Se lila kariba yate mori kamachkara. Esura bhakta lana karimo avatar. Kariba vida abuta vihara. Vaikuntayad nahi ye lila pakar. Se lila kariba yate mora chamatkara. Esuda bhakta lana karimu avatar. Kariba vida abuda vihar. Vaikuntai de nahi yaye lila pachar. Se lila kariba yate mora chamakara. Anyone else like to give it a go?
Ei Shuddha Bhaktalana Kari Movatara Kari Vividha Vedha Adbhuta Vihara Vaikunthatya Nahi Ye Lila Prachara Se Lila Kari Yate Mora Chamatkara.
Very nice. Thank you,
Ishuddha Bhakta. Hare Krishna. Ishuddha Bhaktalana Karimu Avatara. Kariba Vivida Vidya Aguta Vihara. Vaikuntati Nahi Ye Lila Pachara. Sese Lila Kariba Yate Mora Chamatkara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sudha Bhaktalana Karimu Avatara Kariba Vidha Vidha Abuta Vihara Vaikuntadya Naihi Ye Lila Prachara Se Lila Kariba Yate Mora Chamatkara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Ei Shuddha Bhaktalana Karimu Avatara Kariva Viveda Vedha Adbhuta Vihara Vaikunthatya Nahi Ye Lila Prachara शेषे लीला करीबा याते मोरा चमत्कार.
Great. So we'll do word for word. A, these, Suddha Bhakta, pure devotees, Lanya, taking, Karimu, I shall make, Avatar, incarnation, Kariba, I shall do, Vita Vida, various kinds, Adbhuta, wonderful, Vihara, pastimes, Vaikuntha Adye, in the Vaikuntha planets, etc. Nahi, not, yea, whatever, Lilara, of the pastimes, Pachara, broadcasting, Sese, those, Lila, pastimes, Kariba, I shall perform, Yate, in which, Mora, my, Chamatkara, wonder. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.T. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. Purport. Lord Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in various wonderful activities depicted in his sublime philosophy and teachings. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and in all of them the Lord accepts the service rendered by his eternal devotees in reverential mood. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna presents his most confidential pastimes as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swadbatantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Sati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Panchakalpa Tarubhya's Chakra Pasindi Vaivya Chapati Nam Padane Vyavashna Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Charas Omaniti Namane Snakta Chaita Supaneta Bhagavatrasa Buddham Prabhupada Gata Bhakti Charapadam. So I'll read this translation again. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. So here we're seeing this description of why Lord Chaitanya appears, and there's three reasons given in this chapter. One is so that he can relish the position of Srimati Radharani, and she's the one who's really the love. She really demonstrates that love of Krishna. And then the second reason is to understand the transcendental mellow of himself. So he's really trying to understand the sweetness of his own self. Why is Radharani so attracted to him? So he wants to know, he wants to experience that from the other side. And then the third reason is to enjoy the bliss tasted by Radharani. So this is through these pastimes. So he wants to enjoy the bliss. He wants to relish in the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. And so here in this particular chapter, we're understanding a little bit about what how Krishna incarnates and the relationship to be taken with Krishna, and so or to be aspired, for with Krishna. And here, it's Krishna's explaining, or Lord Chaitanya is explaining that Krishna is descending in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha, as we know, are the heavenly planets, and so these are these various wonderful ways that Krishna, when he descends, he's carrying out these pastimes that are so beautiful and so extraordinary. Let's say that we want to hear about them. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, even we get into this a little bit. The first canto is questions by the first canto in the first chapter is questions by the sages of Naimisharanya, and they're asking Sukha Goswami, they're saying, we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationship with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. And that is really what we're seeing here too. This demonstration. You know, Lord Chaitanya is here to really relish the pastimes. He's relishing them in the pastimes of the Lord. As Lord Chaitanya, he's relishing the pastimes of Lord Krishna because they are so wonderful. They are so beyond even Vaikuntha because he's here. He's here interacting with his devotees, and that's what makes his pastimes especially nectarian because he's here relishing them with his devotees, with you know, he loves his devotees so much, and he just so much wants to be in these relationships with them. So for him, for Krishna, this is you know, this is even beyond the Vaikuntha planets. This nectarian relationship that he has with his devotees, and in you know, in this time, in this you know, in these pastimes, we know also too that Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam again, we know that when Krishna descends in Canto 10, we know that when Krishna descends, that everything becomes all auspicious. In the 10th canto, it says, thereafter, the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. So when Krishna comes down, everything becomes auspicious. Everything becomes so beautiful and filled with goodness and love and peacefulness. And he said here, the constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashvini. The sun and the moon and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. So this is just describing what happened when Krishna appeared here. And so, you know, the pure breeze began to blow, pleasing to the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. The Brahmanas were engaged in ritualistic ceremonies. You know, the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear. The saints and Brahmanas who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men felt peace within the core of their hearts. And kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary system. So here, it's, you know, when the Lord appears, everything is transcendental. Everything immediately becomes transformed into the spiritual world. And this is the relishing that Lord Chaitanya is really speaking of here. And he's educating his devotees. So this isn't just Lord Chaitanya relishing in this. He's teaching his devotees how to relish in these pastimes, how to progressively develop this pure devotional service. And this is said in the purport that Prabhupada said, as here, Lord Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in wonderful activities. So we see here that Lord Chaitanya is really teaching his devotees how to not just you know, hear about the pastimes. What does it mean to relish? If we're relishing the pastimes of the Lord, we're not just hearing them. It's not just in one ear, out the other, and we're like, oh yeah, that's nice, that's nice. No, we're really becoming absorbed by them. We're hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and we're feeling like we're there. We're really feeling the bliss and the energy that is part of Lord Krishna's energies that are here. It reminds me of my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Swami, when he was on this earth. He used to tell the best story of Krishna book and you know, the Uddhava Gita and all of the, you know, the different pastimes of the Lord, and he would just tell these stories, and he would just laugh and just share these stories, and it was just such a joy to watch him relish in the pastimes of the Lord, because through that relishing, through that absorption, we can get some feeling. You know, even if we ourselves are not there, maybe we are, but even if we were not there, and we're not 100% relishing, and we're hearing the stories, thinking, okay, this is nice. It seems a little out there, but it's nice stories. I like to hear it. I know it's good for me. Even if our mood is still working toward that stage of real true absorption, that to be around someone that is utterly absorbed in these pastimes. And like I said, when we would go on retreats or I would hear lectures from my Guru Maharaj, and he would just be smiling and laughing and just, almost he had this internal, kind of thing he was experiencing that he was letting us into a little bit when he was sharing these stories. And it was just really transcendental. It was absolutely transcendental. And that was his way of imparting this knowledge unto us. And through that parampara, the guru taught by that system that's really helping the disciples to gain access to Krishna through this this passing on. And when the guru is so deeply connected, then the devotee can then have a taste, right? That ruchi, that slight taste of what it means to really be absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. And so here in in this particular purport, and then this whole chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're understanding this a little bit more. Chaitanya Charitamrita is not elementary study. Chaitanya Charitamrita is definitely for the it's for the more advanced student of bhakti. And why is that? Because we're getting into such confidential knowledge. They say that the Chaitanya Charitamrita is really the graduate studies. And so the Bhagavad Gita is kind of the starting point, and then you get into Srimad Bhagavatam, so you're hearing about the pastimes of other great personalities and incarnations of the Lord. But why is the Chaitanya Charitamrita a graduate study? Well, let's think about what is the purpose of this chapter. So this chapter is reminding us of why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And he appeared, why? One, to relish the position of Srimati Radharani. Well, that is extremely intimate, right? This isn't just an ordinary understanding. This is this is relishing that relationship that Srimati Radharani had with Krishna. We know that is extremely intimate and very confidential. And then he was also trying to understand his own attraction. Why was Radharani so attracted to him? So he was trying to see what she was seeing, see through the eyes of Radharani what was so attractive about himself. And then he just wanted to feel that bliss. So what makes this Chaitanya Charitamrita such an advanced study is that it's very confidential. It's a very intimate understanding, because Lord Chaitanya in himself is coming in that mood of Srimati Radharani. So already we know that this is a very elevated space that he's coming into this incarnation with. He's coming into that mood of devotion, that deep devotion, that bhava, that bhakti that's really elevated. And so he's trying very hard. So even though he's in that mood of that's prema bhakti, that bhava bhakti is so elevated in his mood, he still descends to the average person, right? He comes down to the petita pavanas, right? That all of the fallen souls, the ones that are, he's the deliver the fallen souls, the Dina Dayal, all of the fallen souls, all of us that are here, we're trying to work our way toward the understanding of Krishna. And he is here, even in the mood of Radharani, still associating and trying to help us most fallen understand what our relationship is with Krishna. And that is very, very special. And it's very, very intimate. And we're very fortunate to come in contact with Lord Chaitanya, even if it was only 500 and some years ago. That's, 600 years ago. That's pretty incredible to think about the fact that within this span of time, within 432,000 years in Kali Yuga alone, right? That you've only a mere 550 years ago is when Lord Chaitanya was here on the earth. So that's pretty recent in the scheme of things. And so we have actual writings, we have Shikshastika prayers, we have actual disciples of Lord Chaitanya that were here writing about those experiences, which is incredible. So we are in such close contact in the scheme of the universe and a scheme of time and the yuga cycles, that we were in such close contact with Lord Chaitanya that energy still resonates out. It still radiates out into even present day. We have the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which glistens on our bookshelf. This is golden books, right? That glisten on our shelves. And so when we have the opportunity to study Chaitanya Charitamrita and do that under the guidance after having thoughtfully studied Bhagavad Gita and thoughtfully studied Srimad Bhagavatam and then diving into Chaitanya. I'm kind of like, I'm giving this class today as a highly unqualified person, and I will fully admit that, but I'm really starting to, dip my toe into the study right now of Chaitanya Charitamrita because I felt so, it's just so advanced, and trying to even get there in my studies of Shastra is a really advanced topic. But I'm dipping my toe in now, and I'm giving this class humbly as kind of a, relating back to what Srila Prabhupada said and Krishna Kaviraj, Das Goswami said, and all of the other wonderful teachers on this path, only just as a parrot, that's the parodying aspect that we can do more. Prabhupada used to send his very new disciples out into to the world, saying, teach and distribute my books, and they're like, oh well, we only just are learning this, and Prabhupada just share what I'm teaching you. That's all. Just share what I'm teaching you. And so in these instances when we're really in a very confidential subject, like I said, I am very unqualified to be sitting in this chair right now speaking on this, but I would love to be the person to share, what Prabhupada thinks about this and some of the other, great teachers and acharyas in our path. And so, and one of the things that came up in this purport too, and also that is said in this verse specifically, is that taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. And so in Vaikuntha, like I said, we know that Vaikuntha is the spiritual sky, but also we know that Krishna's in Vaikuntha all of the time. Krishna actually never leaves Vaikuntha. And that is one of the things that is important to remember, because even though Krishna is here, he's often mistaken for an ordinary person. Fools deride me. This is the famous Bhagavad Gita quote. Fools deride me that think that I am just an ordinary person. So, and this is because those who do not have the vision do not understand why Krishna is here, that when he is here on this planet, that everything suddenly changes. Everything becomes spiritualized because Krishna never leaves the spiritual planet. He never leaves the spiritual sky. So when he was here in Vrindavan and Kurukshetra and Dwarka, all of these different experiences, when he was here on this planet, he was still also in Vaikuntha. So that bodes well for the planet, let's say, right? Because as I read in the Canto 10 of his birth, in Canto 10, it says that that the Lord, his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental. And one who factually understands them is immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual sky. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of any ordinary man who is forced to accept the material body according to his past deeds. The Lord's appearance is explained in the previous chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. I love that. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. He's here because he wants to be here. He's here to, we know in, Bhagavad Gita 4:9, we know that he's coming for his activities. He's coming because he's here to serve and to release the devotees from any harms. He's here to annihilate the miscreants and establish the principles of religion. So this is this is why he comes. He's here to, in this pastime, to kill the miscreants. So we know that Krishna is here to kill the demons. We know that he's here to deliver the devotees. And that's what is being said here, too, in this verse. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways. And, you know, this is something that's really important to think about, too, that Krishna also, we say, pure, you know, taking them with me, these pure devotees with me, I shall descend. Krishna never goes anywhere by himself. So he's saying he's descending, and he's taking his pure devotees with him. He's descending with his gang. He's got his crew. You know, he has Lord Balaram as his brother. He has Lady Subhadra as his sister. You know, Arjuna is here. He has Mother Yashoda. All of these great devotees, they're all coming down here to experience his pastime with him. This is not just a thing where Krishna comes by himself. He's here. He kills some demons. He does some things, and then he goes back. No, he creates a whole experience in Vrindavan. Creates all pastimes. Oops, I'm accidentally unmuted there. It looks like. Sorry. Got a little, there we go. So he's really coming down to have these experiences with his devotees, and also as Lord Chaitanya, he's coming down to teach us. Now, we talk about teaching the stage progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. So where does that go? So most of you are probably familiar with the 9 stages of bhakti. And so the 9 stages of bhakti are the progression that it's important to be aware of. This progression of bhakti. So we know that we have the activities of bhakti. We have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right? So there's that. And then there's the stages of bhakti. And the stages of bhakti are Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, and Prema. And these are outlined in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion, by Srila Rupa Goswami. And Srila Rupa Goswami really pulls this out. He really draws this out in his Nectar of Devotion. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. And if you haven't yet studied Nectar of Devotion, I definitely encourage you to do so, because it really gives us a concrete guide for bhakti. And this is why this book is such an important one. It's actually part of the Bhakti Shastri studies as well. So in the Nectar of Devotion, we know that what we're talking about here, where Lord Chaitanya is that prema, the bhava and prema, those are the two top attachments, really. They're the two top stages. And that pure love of God is really that ecstasy, that complete absorption. And it's the perfectional stage. This is what is being spoken about here. When he's saying that he is, Prabhupada says in the purport that he's developing, helping devotees develop to the stage of pure devotional service. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about that prema bhakti. So we talk a lot about devotional service, and like devotional service is the word, and I talk about this in class a lot, but I think it's important to understand that devotional service is a word that we use a lot, right? As devotees, we talk about devotional service. We talk about being a devotee, and understanding that we are practicing, devotees. We are practicing working toward that pure devotional platform. Devotional service is that absorption, that service that is with absorption of the Lord, that we're doing that devotional service in the mindset of, I'm performing this for the Lord. I'm trying to make the Lord happy. I'm thinking about the Lord. Maybe it's making garlands, or maybe we're doing deity worship, or maybe sweeping the floors or cooking in the kitchen, whatever that looks like. That when we're doing that activity, our mind is engaged. Our mind is engaged in thinking of the Lord and thinking about what pleases the Lord in that activity that we're doing. So if we're making garlands, we're thinking about, as we're threading the flowers, thinking, oh, this flower will match so nicely, to Krishna's, lotus mouth. This garland will hang so beautifully over his shoulders and under his flute. So if we're cooking, we're cooking, we're thinking Krishna. I think Krishna will really love the flavors of this prasadam. I really, I want to please Krishna today because I know that this is gonna taste really nice for him. These are the things that he enjoys, and so that's devotional service. And getting to pure devotional service is absolute absorption. Nothing can distract us. Nothing can pull us away. And this is the goal, right? This is the goal. And through that, knowing what the goal is always important, and having solid steps to reach that goal. And we know we've talked about a lot in class. We know that the first stage is to just develop some faith. And maybe that's just where someone hangs for a lifetime, because faith is not easy to cultivate. So many things can rock our faith in this world. We see what's happening in the world. I had lunch with a friend the other day, and she looked at me and she said, I have an off the wall question. She said, it's very serious. I said, okay, lay it on me. And she said, do you believe in God? And I said, yes. And she said, why do you believe in God? And I said, why not? I said, it just feels happier to believe in God. It just feels better to me. And she said, well, how can you believe, that God is always out to help us when you see what's happening in the world? She said, what's happening in Israel and the Gaza Strip, what's happening in the Ukraine, when you see children that are dying, how is that God? How is God's hand in that? And I said, well, we had to get a little deeper into philosophy at this point because she just took me there. And I said, well, it's not always so easy to understand. I said, God's energies are everywhere, but God can also remain aloof. And I said, if you believe in the cycle of birth and death, and you believe in karma, and you believe that the spirit soul is everlasting and not and always and eternal, then you might look and have compassion for the souls that are experiencing these difficult times, and you pray for them, and you pray for their well-being, and pray, and that Krishna's hand is delivering where it's just there. You just have to sometimes accept that it's the material world, and the material world has all these different energies that are very difficult to understand, because we're here in this human body and we're trying to understand that our spirit soul is eternal. We're trying to really wrap our heads around that. Intellectually, we can write it down on a piece of paper and say, my soul is eternal. Krishna is everywhere. But how do we actually internalize that? How do we internalize that and live that day in and day out? That's faith. That's faith. How do we know when we are praying to Krishna? How do we know whether he's going to listen or reciprocate or do anything? That's faith. Because sometimes it's just in the faith and the prayer that can give us some peace. Because we don't always get answers that we want. And Krishna is going to do what he feels is best for us and where we're at. And sometimes Krishna gives us plenty of space if that's what we want. And that's something that is, as jivas, as humans and these material energies, it's difficult to reconcile when we see a lot of destruction. But we can go back to, and I couldn't reference Bhagavad Gita in the Battle of Kurukshetra because that was just, she didn't have any reference point there. But here we can look and say in Bhagavad Gita in the Battle of Kurukshetra, we know that Krishna says, when in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when he's showing his universal form and Arjuna is seeing the destruction, he's seeing his uncles and his cousins and his grandfather all getting gobbled up by the mouth of Vishnu, of Krishna. And he's standing there just bewildered and saying, this is horrid. But Krishna says, it's already done. Everything is already done according to my plan. You're just an instrument. You're just an instrument in my plan. And so when we think about faith, it's really it's not so easy if you really get down to it. That is why it's first on the list, because faith is something to really think about and meditate on. Is in any given moment, in any given day of our life, do we really have faith in our relationship? Do we have faith that Krishna is carrying out his activities as meant to be? That Krishna has his hand in our lives? And so this is where faith is such a critical component. And maybe if our faith isn't so strong, maybe we find others that have good faith. You know, like I said, when my Guru Maharaj was telling stories of Krishna's pastimes, and he was just lighting up, and he was just so absorbed and giggling to himself with these pastimes of the Lord, you just feel it. You know, suddenly the whole room is transformed into Vrindavan, where he's speaking, and we're all just completely in that story with him. And that's that for that moment, for that 20 minutes or a half hour, we're locked in. And this is where association, and that's why that's next on the list. Because in order to keep our faith steady, then the sadhu sangha is there to support, right? It provides the structure underneath our faith to help keep us steady in that faith. Because the sadhus, hopefully, the sadhus, their role as true sadhu is faithful. A true sadhu has deep faith, has deep taste for the pastimes, has deep taste for the relationship, you know, and they're really relishing in that relationship with the Lord. So the sadhu sangha, we can get some sort of osmosis, right? We get that association just by being close to someone who's in that space. They can come into our space as well. You know, it's just the same as when someone's in a really good mood, and maybe you're not feeling so good, and if they're just genuinely in a good mood, and just you're around them and you start to like perk up a little bit, like, oh, you know, this is nice. They're happy, and I'm feeling a little happy being with them, because they take my mind off things. And that's what sadhu sangha is there for. It's there to help us stay steady, because it's very difficult. These material energies are not easy at all. They are not easy. And so we are daily navigating these material energies, and daily navigating our own internal desires, and how those might get picked up, you know, by the modes of material nature and by Maya. You know, Maya is not the bad guy here, right? Maya is just an instrument of the Lord. He's the external energies of the Lord. Maya is not the bad guy. She's making sure that everyone that comes to Krishna is sincere. You know, she's not going to let anyone come near Krishna. She's going to test us and make sure that anything that is in our heart that's not pure, that's insincere, she's going to keep calling that out on us, and keep pulling us away until we figure it out that on our own, that it's our own desires that are taking us away from Krishna. Maya is just an instrument for that, just to make sure that only the right people get in. It's like the bouncer at the door, you know. They're not going to just let anyone in. If you don't have the right ticket, if you don't have the right name or the right, you know, dollar bill, you know, the $100 bill in your hand, you're not getting in. And so Maya is just making sure that only the pure of heart have access to Krishna. Krishna does not come cheap. He does not come cheaply. And so when we feel a little bit flummoxed by life, we get flipped upside down, we get tested. Just remember that these are our desires that are coming out, and Maya is helping us come into contact with our true nature and our true desires. And this is a gift. It's actually an opportunity to really see where we are internally, and to be self-reflective, to say, oh, wow, yeah, that's true. That's still there. I still have that desire, and that's something for me to identify and be aware of. And so now, thank you, Maya. Thank you for making me aware of these desires. I'm going to work harder to turn my desires more toward Krishna. And so I know it's getting late. I talked a little bit longer today. So thank you all for being here, and being part of this group. And I'll open it up for any questions, any corrections. Please forgive me for misspeaking, or any comments, reflections, anything you'd like to share.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a very nice flowing lecture. And then there's a few points And being the host, I think I should hold off on that because I'm supposed to let devotees come in and unmute and ask questions and talk about the takeaways and then share their realizations. So devotees, this is the time. If you're interested, please unmute your phone. I mean, I keep saying phone, but unmute your Zoom microphone. That's what I'm supposed to say, not phone, microphone, and then share whatever comes to mind that very much connects with this or whatever else you want to share. Krishna consciousness, so we can have a nice Krishna Katha. So
Hare
please
Krishna
do.
Vrindavaneswari, accept my obeisance, O Goddess of Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. My place is so much Prabhupada.
Jai. You know,
Yeah.
Vrindavaneswari, you got me stuck. And I have been having that thought since you mentioned it. You got me stuck on your lunch date with your friend. And since you mentioned it, my mind has been really running. I have to say, it's been really running about faith, and I started questioning myself after you shared that incident with your friend. I started questioning myself. I said, wait, but I asked myself, how many times in my life did I do something thinking that it's all going to be hunky-dory? And did I have faith that it's going to be all hunky-dory, like it's all going to be great? And I started thinking, no, wait, then different incidences in my life. I said, but then why did I take that leap of faith, knowing that it may not be good or may be good, because we thought it is going to be good, like I was thinking, like, like for women, right? When we have children, we go through so much pain. Now, every woman on this face of this earth, including myself, I'm sure will be wishing that they'll have a painless short delivery. That never happens. Where's the faith, right? And I was thinking, even like for men and women, especially in the Indian marriages, when they have an arranged marriage, they're blindly getting married to another stranger's family. Is that faith? So I was just thinking, wow, we take so many steps in our lives thinking that it's a rites of passage in life, but it's actually a test of faith. But when it comes to God, we make it such a big deal to have faith, but we've been doing it in other parts of our life. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah, you got me thinking, Vrindavaneswari. You got me thinking.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you make. I mean, we have faith that the sun's going to rise in the morning. We have faith that we're going to go to school and get a job. That certain things will work out. And
yeah.
So what is the faith in God, and where does that dovetail into faith of God versus just this is what I do and things generally work out for me and I'll be fine versus the actual understanding that God is the facilitator. Krishna's the facilitator.
See, at the point that you mentioned, even after school getting a job, every college student, I'm sure, as soon as they finish school, they want a job the very next week, and that never happens. But rather than thinking probably it's the Lord's will, they think, no, I'm inadequate, right? But that's the Lord's will, and surrendering to the Lord's will is faith. So I was really thinking, wow, yeah, that's a very deep topic, Prabhu. You're right. Sometimes some of us can be on it for a long time because we have segregated it in different parts of our life that, no, this is my inadequacy, it's not faith in God, this is faith, like all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty deep topic. Thank you for bringing it up. You got me thinking. I have to say that. You really did.
Yeah, it is a deep topic, and that's why I think having it be the first thing in terms of the stages of devotion, it's really to cultivate a deep unwavering faith takes time.
Yeah.
So what to say of Ruchi and Nista, Ruchi and Baba? Like, I'm just trying to keep studying
That's
my
first
faith.
wave of the first wave of the devotion in the Bhakti Shastri, right? I remember that. After the first wave, absolutely, it's really deep. Yeah, that's something that I think I feel that we have to always um, check ourselves, question ourselves, evaluate ourselves, to really have faith and what we're having faith in. Yeah, thank you. That was a good point. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad. Glad. Krishna
Hare
Prabhu.
Jai, Hare Krishna. So, other devotees, we have some more to share. Realizations, questions, please unmute and share what you have. It would
Hi,
be
Guru
wonderful to
today.
hear it. Everybody else want to jump in now. All right, so in the meantime, while you're thinking about it, so Hare Krishna, you were saying that, this is earlier on in the lecture. Chaitanya Charitamrita is very deep, and it is in the life of Lord Chaitanya. And you were expressing that you were feeling like unqualified to share this. But all I wanted to tell you is that we all feel that way. You're not alone, because we're just supposed to share what Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara teach us to do. Actually, Lord Chaitanya has said that this is the way to do it. We have to say exactly what the Lord says. And so we can't dilute it in any way by bringing our perception of things in there. No, we can give examples, but they have to relate to what's been said in there. So, this is what we all do. But we're not qualified because when was the last time we remember whatever happened when we were in Vaikuntha? We don't remember anything now.
Right?
So
I know.
right now, and I like the analogy you gave about Maya testing us, if you are really, really, really ready to put your heart into bhakti, and if you're not, then Maya is a bouncer that this is you out of here. You have to.
Yep,
So yeah.
exactly.
So that Maya as a bouncer analogy was very nice to
Well,
express it.
that's actually it's interesting. I'll pull this up from uh it was from the teachings of Queen Kunti. I was reading that
Oh,
the other day, and there's teachings of Queen Kunti, verse 3. She doesn't use the word bounce. Prabhupada doesn't use the word bouncer, of course, but kind of. In teachings of Queen Kunti, verse 3, Prabhupada's purport says, if one takes to Krishna consciousness, in the beginning there will be many disturbances caused by Maya, the material energy of illusion. Maya will test us to see how firmly we are fixed in Krishna consciousness. Because she is also an agent of Krishna, she does not allow anyone the freedom to disturb Krishna. Therefore, she tests very rigidly to see whether we have taken to Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna or actually serious. That is Maya's business. So in the beginning, there will be tests by Maya, and we shall feel so many disturbances while making progress in Krishna consciousness. So,
okay. So that really explains the point why Maya is in fact the bouncer here. It's gonna test you
uh-huh.
really, really, yeah. And then sometimes in some devotees' life, it gets to be very challenging right in the beginning. And that is
Yeah.
okay. So it's a test Maya bringing forward, and that's a time that devotee association is very important for that person. Otherwise, then they'll lose hope and say, "I came to God, and now all of this is
All
happening."
this is happening. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is this dear Krishna? Is that Devandra? Is that dear Krishna Prabhu or no? Devandra?
In the
No,
chat,
that's
let me
yeah.
just see. Yeah, it is dear Krishna. All right, so let's
Okay.
let's go to what his
He
chat
said how to
message is.
become yeah, so he wrote thank you for a nice question. How to become that good person to pass Maya Davies and her agents test.
Agent's test.
Good
Okay,
question, Prabhu.
good question.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think the best thing that we can do is just be self-aware of our own desires. You know, it's not easy. Desires pop up from many lifetimes. They come from our upbringing, they come from the material energies, from our work, from our families. So it's understanding what our material desires are and what our true goals are in wanting a relationship with Krishna. Um, there's in many different traditions, there's the pray to God for this, pray to God for that. and even in Prabhupada references in Christianity, give us this day our daily bread. This is the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses, we forgive those who trespass against us. But he's saying, give us this day our daily bread. So it's petitioning to God. I remember years and years ago, it was a sweet moment, but it was at a time, I was coming into Krishna consciousness, and my cousin's son wanted a puppy, and he really wanted a puppy. She's like, well, ask God, maybe he'll give you a puppy, and that was kind of the response from mom was, ask God, he'll give you a puppy, maybe he'll give you a puppy. Pray to God for a puppy. And so, there's this kind of petitioning. And so what Maya is testing us is that, are you petitioning to God? Are you petitioning to get your child into a good school? Are you petitioning to get a raise? Are you petitioning for not to be sick, to be free of sickness, to be free of suffering? Or are you petitioning to God just to have a relationship? And that is how we can check ourselves, is really in our internal dialogue and in our internal prayers to Krishna. What are we asking for? Of course, when we chant on our beads, when we're chanting the Maha Mantra, we're asking for an increase in our devotional service. Dear Lord, please let me serve you. Please increase my devotional service. So that's the prayer we want, right? That's why we chant it, so many times during the day. But the true, I think, way to it's not becoming a good person so much as it is understanding what our true desires are. Because I think we're all good people. I think we all are genuinely good people, most of us anyway, at least in this room, in this Zoom room. We're all good people. It's just a matter of understanding what our deep desires are. And that's not always clear cut, in my opinion. I don't think we always know what our desires are until they really get thrown in our face, and we get tested on them. And that's why, it's saying, when we do get tested by Maya, it's an opportunity to say, thank you. You pointed something out to me, Maya. This was a good test. I appreciate it. I don't know, Prabhu, if that answers your question, because I'm certainly no expert. It's just my own, understanding of it.
Usually would respond in the chat, quick response.
You're welcome to unmute too, Prabhu, if you can.
I definitely understood that, which is a very nice way of describing what Maya does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, thank you, Mataji, for the way.
I wanted to share what I recently. So he also said, thinking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also wanted to share what I heard recently, that anyone serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is actually participating in his pastimes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what, because his energies are still very much present here on this earth. So it's the golden age of Lord Chaitanya.
I've even heard that, and this is a long time ago, I heard that I forgot who put it out, but the devotees are discussing among themselves and saying that Chaitanya Charitamrita will continue even with some of the activities in ISKCON now. As devotees, of course, not everything will be put in there, because not every single devotee of the Lord is even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But major things that happen to make a big, impact, that is recorded, and they will be continued. So someone else is going to continue his
so
work.
we just keep on keeping on, right? We just keep chanting, and we keep associating and doing some service, and just follow the formula Prabhupada's given us, and eventually it will take hold. That's all we can hope for.
Thank you very much. Any final questions or realizations or takeaways?
Thank you.
It's past the hour now. If not, then thank you very much, Mataji. We look forward to next time coming in and having some more discussions. Yes. So thank you, devotees, for also coming on to the program. Vancha kalpataru visya kripa sindhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Have a wonderful, peaceful Thanksgiving. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Now,
Krishna.
can you maybe text me and give me some references to the pastime that your Guru Maharaj was talking about, that he was giggling all about? I would like to hear it. If one way or the other, you can send it to me. Reference.
Yeah. I will. It was like Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. He would just, anytime we would give classes, he would just relish in those pastimes of Vrindavan. It was always the Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, and he would just be like You know, when
Okay.
he was killing demons specifically, or when he was playing with his friends, and he would just be giggling and laughing, and it was just.
Oh, okay.
You have three requests, Vrindavan. It's just me, Parikshit, and Dear Krishna. We three won the pastimes.
So if
Yes,
we, but it
yes.
says his regular lectures though. So if we go to like YouTube and put
Yeah.
his name in the field and say lectures, then we would have maybe a series if it's there.
Well, you'll see the Uddhava Gita is very nice, and he does
Okay.
like 15 lectures on Uddhava Gita, and you'll hear that mood from him there for
Okay, so
sure.
we can put his name and put Uddhava Gita, and then maybe we'll have something. Okay.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
definitely.
That's what we can
Thank
do.
you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.